The legend begins. In the distant reaches of the galaxy, humanity found itself locked in a desperate war against the Zorgonian Empire, a powerful alien civilization bent on conquering every star system they encountered. For decades, the conflict raged on, with the human forces slowly losing ground despite their valiant efforts. Amidst the chaos and despair, whispers began to circulate about a legendary human warship of immense power, said to possess advanced technologies far beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Most dismissed these stories as mere myths, the desperate hopes of a species on the brink of annihilation. But for some, the legend of the Prometheus became a symbol of hope in their darkest hour. In the Zeta Prime system, a pivotal battle erupted as a massive Zorgonian fleet closed in on the human colonies. The system was a key strategic location, rich in resources and home to millions of civilians. If the aliens took control, it would be a devastating blow to the human war effort. The human fleet, led by Admiral Nora Hawkins aboard the carrier Indomitable, prepared to make their stand. Outnumbered and outgunned, they knew their chances of victory were slim. As the enemy ships emerged from warp, the Admiral addressed her crew, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "This is it, everyone. The Zorgonians think they can crush us here and now, but we're going to show them what humanity is made of. We fight not just for ourselves, but for the billions counting on us back home. No matter what happens today, we will not go quietly into the night. We will make them remember the courage and resilience of the human spirit." As the two fleets clashed, the void of space lit up with the fire of 1,000 suns. Lasers, missiles, and piercing beams of plasma crisscrossed the battlefield, as ships on both sides were reduced to molten slag. The human forces fought with skill and determination, but the sheer numbers of the Zorgonian fleet began to take their toll. In the chaos of battle, a strange reading appeared on the sensors of the Indomitable, a faint energy signature, unlike anything they had seen before, emanating from an uncharted region of space. Admiral Hawkins, her intuition peaked, knew this could be the key to turning the tide. She had to make a choice: continue the fight here, or risk everything on this mysterious signal. With a heavy heart, she gave the order to retreat, leaving behind a token force to cover their escape. As the bulk of the human fleet jumped away, she could only hope that the sacrifices made here would not be in vain. The legend of the Prometheus had always been a source of inspiration for her. And now, more than ever, she clung to the hope that maybe, just maybe, there was some truth to the myth. Little did Admiral Hawkins know that her decision to pursue this mysterious signal would set in motion a chain of events that would change the course of the war, and indeed, the fate of humanity itself. The legend of the Prometheus was about to become a reality, and the galaxy would tremble before its might. Whispers from the void. As the battered human fleet regrouped in a secluded star system, Admiral Hawkins gathered her most trusted officers to discuss the strange energy signal detected during the Battle of Zeta Prime. Despite the reservations of some, who argued that they should focus on bolstering their defenses, the Admiral was convinced that this could be a game changer. "I know it's a risk, but if there's even a chance this signal could lead us to something that can help us win this war, we have to take it," she said, her eyes blazing with determination. With the support of her senior staff, Admiral Hawkins put together a small, covert team led by Captain Marcus Rain, a seasoned Special Forces operative known for his unorthodox tactics and knack for pulling off the impossible. Their mission: to follow the signal to its source and uncover its secrets, all while avoiding detection by the Zorgonians. As the team prepared for their departure, the rest of the fleet set about repairing and rearming their ships, knowing that every moment of respite was precious. In the depths of space, the Prometheus waited, its existence still a mystery to those who sought it. Captain Rain and his team set out in a sleek, state-of-the-art stealth frigate, the Shadow Dancer. Following the coordinates of the strange energy signal, they ventured into an uncharted region of space, where ancient stars cast an eerie reddish glow across the void. As they drew closer to the source, the signal grew stronger, pulsing with an almost hypnotic rhythm. The team's excitement mounted as they realized they were on the verge of a monumental discovery, though none could shake the feeling of unease that crept up their spines. Finally, they arrived at their destination, a desolate, rocky planet orbiting a dying star. The planet's surface was scarred and pitted, bearing the marks of some ancient cataclysm. As the Shadowdancer entered orbit, the signal reached a crescendo, drawing them to a specific location on the surface. With a sense of trepidation, Captain Rain and his team descended to the planet in a shuttle, their weapons at the ready. As they stepped out onto the barren landscape, they were greeted by an eerie silence, broken only by the howling of the planet's thin, frigid winds. Following the signal, they picked their way through a labyrinth of crumbling ruins, the remains of some long-forgotten civilization. The structures bore the scars of both time and violence, their once proud walls reduced to little more than rubble. As they delved deeper into the ruins, they discovered a hidden chamber, its entrance sealed by a massive, intricately carved door. The energy signal emanated from within, stronger than ever. With a mix of anticipation and dread, they breached the door and stepped inside. The chamber was vast and dimly lit, its walls covered in strange, glowing glyphs that pulsed in time with the energy signal. In the center of the room stood a pedestal, upon which rested a small crystalline device that seemed to be the source of the signal. Captain Rain approached the device cautiously, his heart pounding in his chest. As he reached out to touch it, the crystal flared to life, projecting a holographic message that filled the chamber. The team watched in awe as a figure took shape before them, a human man in an ancient, unfamiliar uniform. "If you are seeing this," the figure spoke, his voice filled with urgency, "then the time has come. The Prometheus, our greatest hope and our greatest fear, must be found. The coordinates are hidden within this message. Find the Prometheus, and you may yet save humanity from the darkness that threatens to engulf us all." As the message faded, Captain Rain and his team exchanged looks of disbelief and excitement. The legend of the Prometheus was real, and they now held the key to finding it. But as they prepared to depart, they couldn't shake the feeling that their journey was only just beginning, and that the true challenges lay ahead. Shadows of the past. With the cryptic message from the ancient ruins guiding their way, Captain Rain and his team set out to unravel the mystery of the Prometheus. The coordinates hidden within the hologram pointed to a long-abandoned human outpost on the edge of known space, a relic from the early days of human expansion. As the Shadowdancer approached the outpost, the team's excitement was tempered by a growing sense of unease. The station hung silently in the void, its once proud hull battered and scarred by the ravages of time and the harsh conditions of space. Docking with the outpost, the team cautiously made their way inside, their weapons at the ready. The interior was dark and lifeless, the air stale and heavy with the dust of centuries. Echoes of the past whispered through the empty corridors, the ghosts of a forgotten era. As they explored deeper into the station, they discovered the remnants of an advanced research facility, its laboratories filled with long-dead equipment and faded data archives. It was here, amidst the ruins of the past, that they found the first clues to the Prometheus origins. Fragmentary records spoke of a top-secret project, commissioned by the early human government in the face of a growing threat from the stars. The Prometheus, a warship of unparalleled power and advanced technology, was to be humanity's ultimate weapon, a guardian to protect them from the dangers of the galaxy. But as the team delved deeper into the archives, a darker picture began to emerge. The technologies used to create the Prometheus were not only advanced, but also incredibly dangerous. The ship's power source, a device known as the quantum core, was capable of harnessing the very fabric of space-time, granting the ship near-limitless energy and the ability to manipulate gravity and even reality itself. As the true extent of the Prometheus capabilities became clear, so too did the reasons for its disappearance. The government, fearing the consequences of such power falling into the wrong hands, had decided to hide the ship away, erasing all records of its existence and scattering the clues to its location across the stars. Captain Rain and his team now understood the weight of their discovery. The Prometheus was not just a legendary warship. It was a weapon of terrifying potential, one that could change the course of the war and the fate of the galaxy itself. But even as they grappled with the implications of their find, the Zorgonian threat loomed ever closer. News reached them of devastating attacks on human colonies as the aliens pressed their advantage in the absence of the main human fleet. With time running out and the fate of humanity hanging in the balance, Captain Rain knew they had to act fast. The Prometheus was their last hope, a chance to turn the tide and save their species from extinction. Gathering their findings and transmitting a coded message to Admiral Hawkins, the team prepared to continue their search for the lost warship. They knew they were racing against the clock, not only to find the Prometheus, but also to keep its existence hidden from the Zorgonians. As they departed the ancient outpost, the weight of their mission hung heavy on their shoulders. The shadows of the past had revealed the true nature of their quest, and now, the future of humanity rested in their hands. The legend of the Prometheus had become their destiny, and they would stop at nothing to see it fulfilled. The sleeping giant, armed with the knowledge gleaned from the ancient outpost, Captain Rain and his team set out to locate the hidden resting place of the Prometheus. The clues they had uncovered pointed to a remote, uncharted region of space, far from the prying eyes of both humans and Zorgonians. As the Shadow Dancer navigated the treacherous currents of a vast, swirling nebula, the team's resolve was tested by the eerie, otherworldly beauty of their surroundings. Ghostly tendrils of ionized gas danced around them, casting an ethereal glow across the ship's hull, while the deep, pulsing heart of the nebula seemed to call out to them, drawing them ever closer to their destination. Finally, after days of careful exploration, they discovered the secret location of the Prometheus, a massive, cloaked shipyard hidden deep within the nebula's protective embrace. The structure was a marvel of engineering, a testament to the ingenuity and determination of its long-dead creators. With a mix of awe and trepidation, Captain Rain and his team docked with the shipyard, their hearts pounding with the knowledge that they were about to witness the awakening of a legend. As they stepped aboard the silent, darkened facility, they were struck by the sheer scale of the construction, the vast halls and towering machinery speaking to the immensity of the project that had birthed the Prometheus. Guided by the flickering light of ancient, half-functional displays, they made their way to the heart of the shipyard, where the Prometheus itself lay dormant, waiting for the touch of human hands to awaken it from its long slumber. The ship was a sight to behold, its sleek, angular lines and shimmering, iridescent hull hinting at the incredible power that lay within. As Captain Rain and his team approached the Prometheus, they discovered that the ship was not entirely lifeless. A powerful artificial intelligence, created to serve as the ship's guardian and companion, had been watching over its charge for centuries, waiting for the right crew to arrive and claim their destiny. The AI, which called itself Athena, greeted the team with a mixture of curiosity and caution, its holographic avatar flickering to life before them. Through a series of tests and challenges, Athena sought to determine whether these humans were worthy of the Prometheus, whether they possessed the courage, intelligence, and compassion necessary to wield its power responsibly. Captain Rain and his team rose to the challenge, proving their mettle and earning Athena's trust. With a sense of reverence and purpose, they boarded the Prometheus, marveling at the ship's advanced systems and sleek, futuristic interior. As they took their stations on the bridge, Athena's voice echoed through the ship, welcoming them aboard and initiating the long-awaited reawakening of the sleeping giant. As the Prometheus stirred to life, its quantum core pulsing with an ethereal blue light, Captain Rain couldn't help but feel a sense of destiny wash over him. He knew that this moment would be remembered for generations to come, the day when humanity's greatest hope returned to fight for their survival. With a flash of light and a ripple in the fabric of space-time, the Prometheus emerged from its nebula sanctuary, ready to take its place at the forefront of the war against the Zorgonians. The legend had become reality, and the galaxy would soon tremble before the might of this ancient, unparalleled warship. But even as the team celebrated their triumph, they knew that their true test was yet to come. The Zorgonians, ever watchful and ever hungry for conquest, would stop at nothing to claim the Prometheus for themselves. The stage was set for a final, decisive battle, one that would determine the fate of not only humanity, but the entire galaxy itself. Embers of hope. News of the Prometheus' return spread like wildfire through the beleaguered human fleet, whispers of hope and wonder passing from ship to ship, from soldier to soldier. After years of retreat and loss, the tide was finally turning, and the embers of hope, long thought extinguished, began to glow once more in the hearts of humanity's defenders. Admiral Hawkins, her spirit renewed by the prospect of a fighting chance, set about rallying her forces and preparing for the battles to come. She knew that the Prometheus, powerful though it was, could not win the war alone. It would need support, a fleet of brave souls ready to stand with it against the might of the Zorgonian war machine. To this end, she appointed Captain Rain as the commander of the Prometheus, recognizing in him the same spirit of determination and ingenuity that had guided the ship's creators so long ago. Together, they began to assemble a crew of the best and brightest, men and women who had proven themselves time and again in the crucible of war. Among them was Lieutenant Caravance, a brilliant tactical officer with a knack for thinking outside the box. Chief Engineer Ezra Roth, a grizzled veteran with a deep understanding of the Prometheus advanced systems, and Dr. Lena Sorensen, a gifted xenobiologist whose knowledge of alien life would prove invaluable in the battles to come. As the crew of the Prometheus came together, a sense of purpose and camaraderie began to take hold, the bonds of shared destiny forging them into a force to be reckoned with. Under Captain Rain's guidance, they trained tirelessly, learning to work as one with their ship and with each other, honing their skills and their resolve for the trials ahead. But even as they prepared for war, Captain Rain knew that the Prometheus could not be everywhere at once. To truly turn the tide, they would need allies, other species and civilizations willing to stand with humanity against the Zorgonian threat. To this end, the Prometheus set out on a quest to gather support from across the galaxy, its crew venturing into the unknown, seeking out those who shared their cause. From the proud warriors of the Kranic Confederation to the enigmatic voidweavers of the Celestial Reef, they forged bonds of friendship and alliance, building a coalition of the willing to stand against the darkness. As word of the Prometheus mission spread, other human colonies began to take heart, their spirits lifted by the knowledge that they were not alone in their fight. Resistance cells sprang up on occupied worlds, striking back against their Zorgonian oppressors and buying time for the growing alliance to mobilize. Yet even as hope blossomed, the specter of the Zorgonian Empire loomed large, its vast armada casting a shadow across the stars. The aliens, ever vigilant, had begun to take notice of the Prometheus and its growing influence, and they were determined to stamp out this new threat before it could challenge their dominion. Skirmishes and raids became more frequent, as the Zorgonians probed the defenses of the human-led alliance, testing their resolve and their strength. The Prometheus and its crew met each challenge with courage and determination, their bond forged in the heat of battle and the shared knowledge of what was at stake. But even as they fought, Captain Rain knew that these were but the opening moves in a much larger game. The true test was yet to come, a final confrontation between the forces of freedom and the tyranny of the Zorgonian Empire. The Prometheus, the once mythical warship that had become the symbol of humanity's resistance, would be the key to victory or defeat. As the ship and its crew ventured deeper into enemy territory, gathering allies and resources, they knew that they were racing against time. The Zorgonians, ever ruthless, were preparing for a massive offensive, one that would crush the human resistance once and for all. The stage was set for a showdown of galactic proportions, a battle that would echo through the ages and determine the fate of countless worlds. The crew of the Prometheus, united by their unwavering belief in the power of hope and the indomitable spirit of humanity, stood ready to face their destiny, no matter the cost. In the hearts of every soldier, every ally, and every civilian who looked to the stars and dreamed of a future free from Zorgonian oppression, the Prometheus had become more than just a ship. It was a symbol, a beacon of light in the darkness, a promise that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the embers of hope could never be fully extinguished. As the Prometheus and its fleet set course for the looming confrontation, Captain Rain looked out across the sea of stars, his resolve unshakable. No matter what challenges lay ahead, he knew that they would face them together, united by the bonds of camaraderie and the unbreakable spirit that had carried humanity through its darkest hours. The legend of the Prometheus, once whispered in hushed tones as a desperate dream, had become a reality. Now it would be put to the ultimate test, as the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The crew of the mighty Warship, their hearts filled with courage and determination, stood ready to meet that test head-on, to fight for the future they believed in, no matter the odds. The tide turns. As the Prometheus and its allied fleet surged forward, striking deep into the heart of Zorgonian-controlled space, the balance of power began to shift. The once unassailable alien armada, caught off guard by the sudden appearance of this mysterious, unparalleled warship, found itself on the defensive for the first time in decades. Under Captain Rain's cunning leadership, the Prometheus launched a series of daring hit-and-run attacks, targeting key Zorgonian supply lines, communications hubs, and military installations. The ship's advanced cloaking technology and remarkable speed allowed it to appear and disappear at will, striking with devastating precision before vanishing into the void. As word of these victories spread, the Zorgonian grip on their conquered territories began to weaken. Emboldened by the success of the Prometheus, resistance movements on occupied worlds redoubled their efforts, sabotaging enemy infrastructure and fomenting unrest among the subjugated populations. The Zorgonian High Command, once confident in their unassailable supremacy, now found themselves grappling with a rapidly deteriorating situation. Their forces, stretched thin by the need to quell growing insurgencies and protect their vulnerable assets, were ill-prepared to face the lightning strikes of the Prometheus and its fleet. But even as the tide began to turn, Captain Rain and his crew knew that their greatest challenge was yet to come. The Zorgonians, ever proud and unyielding, would not accept defeat so easily. As reports of their setbacks reached the highest echelons of their leadership, a grim determination took hold, a resolve to crush this upstart human resistance once and for all. In a desperate gamble, the Zorgonians began to gather their forces for a massive counterattack, pouring every available ship and soldier into a single overwhelming assault. Their target, the Laniri system, a vital hub of the human-led alliance and a key staging ground for the Prometheus campaign. As intelligence reports filtered in, painting a grim picture of the impending onslaught, Captain Rain and Admiral Hawkins knew that they faced a crucial decision: to stand and fight, risking everything in a single decisive battle, or to retreat and regroup, ceding hard-won gains in the hopes of preserving their fleet for future engagements. In the end, there was no choice. The Laniri system was too important, its loss too devastating a blow to the morale and cohesion of the alliance. The Prometheus and its fleet would make their stand, meeting the Zorgonian juggernaut head-on, in a battle that would echo through the ages. As the two armadas converged, the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance. The Prometheus, gleaming like a beacon of hope amid the darkness, led the charge, its crew steeled by the knowledge that the future of their species, and countless others, rested on their shoulders. The battle that followed was unlike any the galaxy had ever seen, a titanic clash of advanced technologies and unwavering resolve. The Prometheus, its quantum core blazing with the fire of 1,000 suns, danced through the Zorgonian lines, its weapons leaving trails of destruction in their wake. Around it, the Allied fleet fought with equal courage and tenacity, their ships forming a bulwark against the relentless Zorgonian assault. Fighters darted and weaved through the chaos, their pilots pushed to the brink of human endurance as they dueled with their alien counterparts. As the battle raged, the crew of the Prometheus pushed their ship and themselves to the limit, their skills and determination tested as never before. Athena, the ship's AI guardian, worked in seamless harmony with her human partners, her vast computational power and tactical acumen proving invaluable in the heat of combat. Yet even as they fought, Captain Rain knew that the tide of battle could turn at any moment. The Zorgonians, their numbers seemingly inexhaustible, pressed their attack with a desperate ferocity, as if driven by the knowledge that this was their last chance to crush the human resistance. The fate of the galaxy, of the dreams and hopes of countless beings, hung in the balance, as the Prometheus and its allies stood fast against the onslaught, determined to hold the line, no matter the cost. In the hearts of every soldier, every officer, and every civilian who looked to the stars and prayed for victory, the legend of the Prometheus burned bright, a symbol of defiance and courage in the face of overwhelming odds. Legends rise. The battle for the Laniri system raged on, a maelstrom of fire and fury that lit up the void of space like a second sun. The Prometheus, battered but unbowed, fought at the heart of the chaos, its crew pushing themselves and their ship to the very limits of their endurance. Around them, the Allied fleet struggled to hold the line against the relentless Zorgonian assault, their ships falling one by one before the onslaught of the alien armada. The Zorgonians, their numbers seemingly inexhaustible, pressed their attack with a savage determination, as if driven by the knowledge that this was their last chance to crush the human resistance. On the bridge of the Prometheus, Captain Rain and his crew fought with a grim resolve, their faces etched with the strain of prolonged combat. Athena, the ship's AI guardian, worked tirelessly to coordinate the ship's defenses and guide its weapons, her vast computational power pushed to its limits by the demands of the battle. As the tide of the battle began to turn against them, Captain Rain knew that they faced a terrible choice: to continue fighting, risking the destruction of the Prometheus and the loss of all they had fought for, or to retreat, abandoning their allies and the countless lives that depended on their victory. In that moment, as despair threatened to overwhelm him, Captain Rain's eyes fell upon the image of Earth, the birthplace of humanity, displayed on one of the bridge's view screens. In that blue and green orb, he saw not just a world, but a promise, a dream of a future where his people could live in peace and freedom. With a sudden clarity, he knew what had to be done. The Prometheus, the legendary warship that had become the symbol of humanity's resistance, could not be allowed to fall into Zorgonian hands. Its technology, its power, was too great a prize, too dangerous a weapon to entrust to the enemy. Turning to his crew, Captain Rain spoke, his voice steady despite the weight of his words. "We have fought long and hard, and we have given everything we have to this cause. But now we face a choice, a moment that will define the future of our species and the galaxy itself. The Prometheus, this ship that has been our home and our hope, must not be allowed to fall. Its secrets, its power, are too great a risk to bear. And so we must make the ultimate sacrifice to destroy that which we have fought so hard to protect." As the weight of his words sank in, the crew of the Prometheus stood silent, their faces a mix of grief, fear, and grim determination. They knew, as their captain did, that there was no other choice, no other way to ensure that the dream of freedom would endure. With heavy hearts, they set about their final tasks, preparing the ship for its last, desperate mission. Athena, her holographic eyes shimmering with emotion, worked alongside them, her voice a steady presence in the face of the looming end. As the Prometheus broke away from the battle, its engines straining to propel it towards the heart of the Zorgonian fleet, Captain Rain stood tall on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the view screen and the image of the alien flagship that loomed before them. "Today," he said, his voice ringing out across the ship, "we write our own legend. Today, we show the galaxy what it means to be human, to fight for what we believe in, no matter the cost. Today, the Prometheus becomes more than a ship, more than a symbol. It becomes a promise, a legacy that will endure long after we are gone. As the Prometheus hurtled towards its final destination, its crew standing united in the face of their destiny, the Allied fleet watched in stunned silence. And then, as if moved by a single unspoken impulse, they rallied, their ships surging forward to cover the Prometheus approach, to buy the legendary warship the time it needed to complete its mission. In the final moments, as the Prometheus collided with the Zorgonian flagship, its quantum core detonating in a blinding flash of light that consumed both ships, a cheer went up from the Allied fleet, a cry of defiance and triumph that echoed across the stars. Though the Prometheus was gone, its sacrifice would never be forgotten. In the years and decades that followed, as the human-led alliance pressed its advantage and drove the Zorgonians back into the depths of space, the legend of the Prometheus only grew, inspiring new generations of warriors and dreamers. And though the galaxy would never be the same, though the scars of the long war would linger for centuries to come, one thing was certain. The spirit of the Prometheus, the courage and determination of its crew, would endure, a shining beacon of hope in the darkness, a testament to the indomitable will of the human spirit.